What's the weirdest rule you had in your home growing up? Salt was for guests only. The actual use of spices was very looked down on and seen as a huge insult to my mom and dad, even though they were absolutely horrid cooks. Couldn't watch SpongeBob while my parents were around because they thought it'd make me gay. My grandmother said not to shit during a lightning storm because a bolt of lightning might strike the pipe and electrocute me. I couldn't recline or lay my body down at all if my boyfriend was over. My mom thought that me laying down would give them thoughts, so I couldn't do it. Once I put my feet up on the couch while my fiance was over and my mom got pissed and thought I was trying to turn him on. I also changed into sweat pants from jeans once because I was going to watch a movie with my boyfriend and she thought I changed to give him better access. I was just uncomfortable in jeans. Also, no Sailor Moon, Avatar, Fairly Odd Parents, Harry Potter, anything with magic or witchcraft. Also never celebrated Halloween and never trick-or-treated. Sweet pants? You absolute harlot. I wasn't allowed to put sugar in my tea because my mum told me that when you go to prison they don't let you have sugar, so it will makes prison that much harder. Thanks for having so much faith in me, mum. I'm pretty sure you are allowed sugar for your tea in prison. I'm surprised she didn't lock you in, because in jail you get locked in. If you're not preparing your young child for prison, are you even parenting? When I turned 16, I was not allowed to leave my room for any reason whatsoever between the hours of 11 p.m. 8 a.m. I had my own bathroom and was given a mini fridge for snacks if I got hungry or was up late in the summer. I found out later that this was because my mom would get on dating sites and invite random men to the house for coitus and didn't want me stealing the spotlight and taking away her shot at love. Edit to answer some questions. I don't think she was doing this for money, because we were always broke as shit. If she did get compensation, it was probably very small amounts, or non-monetary. I didn't mind too much because we fought a lot and I tended to keep my distance from her anyways. It was just weird that she'd specifically lock me in during that time. She was in therapy. She was on meds. The problem was that they would stop working or she'd start abusing them after so long and then it'd start another spiral or crazy shit. This was one of the most tame behaviors of hers. She never really got better, just worse. This all came to a head a few years ago when she basically ran away from home. We got a call about 2 months later that they had found her laying prone on the ground with no response, with some injuries that were consistent to a small gang in the city she was living in at the time. Best we can tell, she got into some trouble with them and they killed her or had her killed. I didn't have a great relationship with my mom, but yes, I still loved her. Stealing her spotlight and taking her shot at love. Was she jealous of you or something? If you come home at night and the door's locked, even if I have a key, find somewhere else to sleep. I can't remember what I did wrong, but my dad came up with about 20 pages of rules I had to follow as a punishment. The weirdest was that I could no longer eat ice cream sandwiches. My dad had diverticulosis, pockets in the intestine, and couldn't eat sesame seeds, among other things. When we would eat fast food sandwiches, everyone had to give their bottom buns to dad, in exchange for his top buns. So all my life I grew up eating burgers with 2 top, seeded buns. This was never explained, and it was from before I born. So it was literally when I was in college that I realized that it wasn't normal. I thought it was just dad privilege TM to have 2 bottom buns. Such male privilege. This guy's got pockets in his intestines when most women don't even get pockets in their clothes. My stepmom would send strongly worded emails to my mom regarding my overconsumption of yogurt at their house. And once again, Brenda, your child has taken another one of my key lime pie chocolates. She has her own, and I can't understand how you haven't explained to her that the yogurt is not communal. Wasn't me but my neighbor. When my dad would come home from work, my friend would have to go home. His parents told him that because that meant it was dinner time and therefore he should come home. Him being a child, didn't grasp that portion of the rule. He only understood come home when my dad gets home. This translated in my friend being terrified of my father. If he saw my dad turning into the driveway, he would drop whatever we were doing and sprint home. If my dad would make it home and get out of the car, he would cry and run home. Somehow in his head, my father was bad. It took some time before my friend was comfortable around my father. We weren't allowed to say I am the best or I am the greatest. My dad grew up in a competitive household. I went to private Christian school and some kids told me they got in trouble at home if they said something was awesome. Only God is awesome, they'd be told. I wasn't allowed to wear my hat backwards. My dad thought that it was a gang thing. Mind you, this was in rural Wisconsin in the 90s. My parents are wonderful people, just may not have had the best understanding of the world at that time. My grandpa would always wear hats, and while he is sleeping I put it on him backwards and he doesn't notice until someone tells him. We were only allowed one towel a week. We could do whatever we wanted with it, but we didn't get another until next week. This was a test. You were supposed to weaponize your towel and take your siblings' towels, becoming the towel god. How do you live with being such a disappointment? For some reason I couldn't say crap, but it was okay to say shit and ass. This was around the time I was 11/12. I'm gonna go take a CR, I'm going to force shit out of my ass. Dude, don't force it. That is going to lead to a lot of problems later. No touching the pets. We had a sweet little bitch and Larsa mix that would beg for cuddles and the best tuxedo cat ever. Fuck you mom and dad, you psychotic fucks. I cuddled the shit out those critters every time you weren't around. Wait, were they allowed to touch the pets? My mother was allowed to hold and play with the cat. My dad, who was insane, was allowed to play with both critters. I rebelled, and got a bunch of parakeets my senior year of high school, but that's another story. And there was Sebastian, the hermit crab, but he was a pinchy little fucker.